you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sylvan. Good morning. So today we're going to be talking about Manulife Singapore's journey to make Agile part of our DNA. We've got the agenda right over here, so we're going to be discussing it in 3 parts. Chapter 1, Discover Your Why. Chapter 2, Change is Difficult. And Chapter 3, The Future is Bright. Before I introduce myself as well, before we start, I just wanted to get a sense of the room. How many of you here today already work in an Agile company? Why are you here? Why are you here? It's half the room. Interesting. How many of you are in an Agile transformation today? Show of hands, please. Yep, okay, we got the other half. And how many of you are just starting out your Agile transformation? Okay, so we got a little bit. Most people in the room are working in Agile companies. A lot of you are on your way, and just one of you is just starting out your Agile transformation. No problem. My name is Stanley. I'm the head of IT strategy and transformation within Manulife. I've got my colleague Grace, and we're going to share with you today about our journey. As we get into Chapter 1, Discover Your Why, the first question I want to ask everyone, and I need audience participation. Can I get audience participation today? Yeah? Okay, fantastic. The first question I want to ask all of you is, how many of you have ever had a great consumer experience? Now, this can be at a restaurant, at a hotel, can be online, wherever. A great consumer experience that you share with other people. Show of hands, please. A great consumer experience. You've never had a great consumer experience? You don't remember? Okay. So of those people who raise their hands, I need those hands up. And everyone take a look. Take a look at those people who have raised their hands. Now, of those, raise their hands. Keep them up. Keep them up. Thank you. How many of these experiences, sorry, I don't know why the slide's going. How many of these experiences of the company that you're thinking, or the service that you provided, or were provided, was with an insurance company? Now take a look around again. Take a look around again. In discovering our why, just as a simple example, I could leave it at that, right? I could leave it as simple as that. That is the most visceral way, the most visual way I can actually take our management and say, this is our why we need transformation. It also talks about the urgency. Now, let me tell you a little secret. You all know this. As an industry, as an insurance industry, we suck, okay? We absolutely suck, okay? Not only in terms of technology, but also in terms of providing great, superior, and delightful consumer experiences. It's incredibly, incredibly difficult to deal with insurance companies. I had to do that 2 nights ago, myself. I know I work for one. I had to do that 2 nights ago, and it was incredibly painful to do so. Don't take my word for it. We've got a video from one of our fellow Voxxed Days presenters, Yuris, so we're going to play that video right now, and I hope that this is something that all of you can relate to.
Hi everybody, my name is Yuris from The Magic Sauce, and as happy as I am to see you guys again, I've been having a bit of a painful experience, a very painful experience. I had a lot of pain in my side near the floating ribs at the end, near the kidney, and I had lots of other symptoms. Went to the doctor, said, it looks like you might have kidney stones. If you've ever had kidney stones, or if you know somebody's had kidney stones, you should know that it is arguably one of the most painful things you can have, period. Doctor referred me to a specialist, to a urologist, had a scan, we did some CT scans. He's now going to do 2 things. He's going to first find out what caused the kidney stones so we can prevent them in the future. And then of course they are going to remove them in the hospital to make sure that they are out. Now, of course, this treatment is not going to be for free, so fortunately I have insurance. I got this insurance through an insurance broker. An insurance broker sits between you and the insurance companies and sells insurance packages, to people. And the way I look at it, most brokers don't do much more than going to a bakery, asking people, saying, hey, you know what, I think you need a bit more bread, and somebody says, sure, I'll have some, how much is it? and the broker goes, it's $3, walks inside, gets it for 2, sells it to you for 3, that's how they make a bit of money. I went to this broker and I said, look, I'm a fairly busy guy, I travel a lot, and I'm willing to spend a little bit more for peace of mind. So can you advise me an insurance package or an insurance company that's pretty hassle-free, that includes most of the basic things? Let's say I'm traveling somewhere in the middle of nowhere, something happens, I want to be able, I want to make sure that I'm looked after. I think at the end of the day, that's what an insurance should provide, like a peace of mind. So I was recommended an insurance company. I got a package. I'm paying a couple of $1,000s a year to make sure that it's all looked after. That's exactly what I was looking for. And as I said, I was willing to pay a little bit of money for that. If you think dealing with kidney stones was not painful enough, now you got to deal with the insurance companies. So at this point, I need to navigate between the urologist, the doctor who's going to be performing the treatment, the insurance broker, and then the insurer itself, the insurance company. And actually I shouldn't even say insurance broker, because by the time they sold you something, they are kind of useless. They kind of went, well, we sold you what we needed to sell.
Goodbye.
Good luck, here's a link, there's an app. So then I had to deal with the insurance company, which of course will ask a bunch of questions to find out what's going on, when did it start. And most of this, it feels, I might be wrong, but it feels like, of course, they're trying to find ways to exclude me or exclude the patient from paying. So they'll find holes like, when did it start, is it a pre-existing condition, which in one way is fair, but it just makes people feel like you really don't trust them. And I know there's a lot of people out there who I'm sure who abuse this system, but I don't think any paying customer, whatever you pay, should have to feel that way. At no point did anybody from the insurance company ask how I was doing or thank me for being a member or anything like that. And I thought that was kind of interesting.
Now, can some of you relate to that? Yeah? It's absolutely painful to deal with us. This is our need. This is our urgency. Our industry is absolutely ripe for disruption. Many CEOs have started to recognize this within the insurance industry. And you will see statements from, we're in the Stone Ages, and we need to come out of the Stone Ages. In terms of how we got here, how did we get to where we are today? Now, this is an activity. It's called Summers Meadows. How many of you know this activity? No? This is a fascinating activity. Okay? I want to talk about how did we get here? How did we get to suck? And this is an activity I invite all of you. If you have got a piece of pen and paper, you want to think of something to bring back to your respective companies, here's one of them. This activity basically takes two groups of people. You take two small groups of people, you divide them into two groups. Okay? You tell them not to peek over to the other side. Just divide them into two groups. You give them each a piece of paper. You give them each some markers, some things to draw. Okay? And then you give them a set of requirements. Okay? This was the output of one example. I've run this probably about 4 or 5 times within Manulife. And each time, each group comes up with unique insights into how we run our organization. So I encourage all of you, I invite all of you to take this back with you today. The picture on the left was drawn by one group. The picture on the right was drawn by another group. Which picture, if I were to ask you, would you find more visually pleasing? Left? Yeah? Does anyone say right? No? On the right, we've got 2 cows. I think it's a cow. It's kind of gravity-defying. We've got flowers that are up in the sky with the birds. It's an interesting picture. On the left-hand side, we've got the, I think those are cows, in a nice summer meadow. And what's interesting is that once you reveal, they're given 1 minute, by the way. You're only given 1 minute to draw this. Okay? You're given 1 minute. We then showcase what is the requirement that was asked for. Okay? In the first group, they turn over their page and they show it to the other group. And they say, we were asked to draw a beautiful summer meadow with blue and red flowers, in green grass, some cows and birds under a shining sun. That was what they showed the other group. Now they were very curious. What did the other group get? Right? How did they end up with this picture over here? And they flipped over their requirement card, and it said this: draw a beautiful summer meadow with 10 blue flowers with 5 petals each, 1 cow with 5 black spots, 3 butterflies, 3 birds in the middle, 1 sun to the right with 5 sun beacons. At this point, if the two groups don't have an aha moment, just give up. You can give up the transformation, okay? How many of you operate in companies that do this? Yeah? This was my aha moment in Manulife, the first time I ran this activity. We do exactly that. And the thing to note here is that there's nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong with operating in a company that does this. Why? These are specifications. These are requirements. You're trying to be helpful to the developers building the actual picture. But what happens? What happens? When you operate like that, what happens? You lose sight of the first sentence. Draw a beautiful summer meadow. And instead, the teams focus on delivering the requirements. We're going to talk more about this later on. So this is the urgency and the why for Manulife. We recently launched a new mission statement. The new mission in Manulife is we want to make decisions easier and we want to make lives better. That's our mission. Decisions made easier, lives made better. At Manulife, we're never going to be able to achieve that if we end up focusing on the specifications, right? And this is our why. This is why we need to transform. When you deal with insurance, we're a life insurance company, by the way. We don't do travel insurance. We don't do some of the other. We do life insurance. And in life insurance, we deal with life and we deal with death, and we deal with this on a daily basis. And these are some of the most difficult decisions that people make and some of their hardest times, and we need to be there for them. And yet, we operate like that. How? The question is how? How can we achieve our mission if we continue to operate like that? That is our sense of urgency. That is why we need to transform. Now, moving on to Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is about change. Now, this is where we tell our story, okay? What we've done over the last, I would say, about two and a half years. How have we gotten? That was where we were from. Where are we? And how have we got to where we are today? Now, quick activity. In terms of change is difficult, okay? Quick activity. This one needs audience participation. It also needs you to stand up. I apologize that you're going to have to travel a little bit over to your left. Now, I need everyone to stand up, please. Find a partner. Find a partner. Okay? Preferably someone you don't know. Find a partner. More effective if it's somebody you don't know. All right, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do, okay? Everyone has a partner? Yep? Okay. Now, you don't need to face your partner yet, okay? We're going to do two things. We're going to make two changes, okay? It's very simple, okay? The first thing I want you to do, facing me, okay? Facing me, change something on yourself. Change something on yourself. It could be your shirt, it could be your watch, it could be your shoelaces, your shoes. Change something on yourself. Okay? Now what I need you to do is now face your partner. And I want each of you to change something on your partner. Awesome, awesome. Now I need a volunteer. Grace, if you could go find a volunteer out in the audience. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. I need a volunteer. How was that for you? Over here, Grace, right up front. How was that experience for you?
Amazing experience.
Amazing experience. What about it was amazing?
The way he put up my collar was just great.
Absolutely. Okay. And what were the emotions when you had to change something on the other person? What were your emotions when someone was changing something on you?
I didn't want to. I took off his badge.
Yes.
So I didn't want to hurt him.
Yes.
And he was very delicate in the way he put up my collar. So it was.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. And then we need another volunteer. Someone to describe your emotions as we fix our technology from 1980. That's Manulife's technology, by the way. Yes. How was your experience? What emotions did you go through?
Going through the process of changing
How did you feel?
Okay. I think at first it was a hint of awkwardness.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a bit of reluctance to do it.
Yep.
And then once you do it, it's just, I think just very different.
Yeah. And what was the difference between changing something on yourself and changing something, or having someone else change something on you?
I can't really describe, but I think it feels quite different.
It's quite different, isn't it? Okay. Now this is an activity that we do to remind ourselves. Thank you very much. You can have seats. You can sit with your new partner. But this is an activity that we do to remind ourselves how difficult change can be. And I'm often reminded, there's this funny cartoon that says, who wants change? And everyone raises their hand. Yeah, we want change. We want transformation. And then the second part of the cartoon says, so who wants to change? And you see everyone running away, right? And that's exactly what this is talking about. Change is difficult. Let me take you back 3 years ago. Now, by the way, how many of you work in a technology company? Can I see a raise of hands? Yep. Most of us. Okay. For the most part, I would say I work in the technology department of an insurance company. Our bold ambition is to become a technology company. But 3 years ago, we were certainly very much an insurance company with a technology department. When I joined, we had this structure. We had our business analyst. We had our back-end developers. We called them AS, application services. We had our front-end developers. We called them e-business. We had testing. We had production support. That was our organizational structure. That was not just our structure. It was also how people sat. The BAs sat together, the testers sat together, the developers sat together. It was also how they had lunch. It was also how we did team building. And it was also how everyone hated each other. Okay, was within these respective silos. Now, what does this remind you of? Silos. What else? In terms of our software development life cycle, this is a reflection of exactly that, right? Now, I'm from Canada, so it reminded me of this beautiful picture over here. Okay, this is Niagara Falls, and I'm sure all of you have experienced this. You do requirements upstream. You do coding right up until the last minute. And what inevitably happens? You discover a bug. By the time you discover a bug, it's kind of too late. Now, in this picture, I don't know if you noticed, if you ever go to Canada, okay, you can go to the Niagara Falls, you can get on this little boat over here, and it takes you right up to the falls. Not too close, but close enough, okay? It's like taking a shower, actually. They'll give you a poncho, but it doesn't matter. Okay? I call that production support. Okay? They're going in to fix that bug. This is hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. But this was what we had back then. Now, in terms of suckedness, okay, in terms of sucking, there are some symptoms that you have. Now, when you have the flu, what are some of the symptoms that you have? You have a fever, right? You could treat the fever. It doesn't do much, okay? You need to treat the underlying symptoms. What are some symptoms that we knew that we sucked? This is one of them, praying before deployment, okay? Now, this is an exaggeration. Those are actual Manulife employees. But I call this, for the technical folk in the room, I call this integration in production, okay? And we can laugh at it, but I'm sure you've all worked for a company that does integration in production before. And this is why we were praying before deployment. What else? What are some of the other symptoms that large companies have? Another one is called CYA. I did not know this term until I joined Manulife. Okay? CYA, do you know what that means? Cover your, and fill in the blank. What are the manifestations of CYA? The first one is, I need that in writing. Why do you need that in writing? Well, we need to document things and agree on clear roles and responsibilities and make sure that everything is proper and, okay, I'll send it in writing. And you end up with email threads. People not talking. And when you print out these email threads, they go from floor to ceiling. That was another symptom that we had. What else? We also had this. If I go back here, What do you think happens when a production issue is discovered? Who's the first person to get yelled at? It's production support, okay? Call up, what the hell, system's down. You guys suck, okay? That's pretty common, actually. Who does production support blame? Testing. Who does testing blame? The developers. Who do the developers blame? The BAs. Who do the BAs blame? Whoever. It doesn't matter, okay? The point is, there's someone to blame. And this was another symptom that we had within Manulife. The biggest symptom, the largest symptom that we had was this, okay? This was a beautiful house that the business wanted. The business said, I want this beautiful, beautiful house, okay? And what happens is, remember back to Summer Meadows, what happens? I have this beautiful vision. What happens next? Requirements. We put a business analyst in front of him. And what does the business analyst do? I want the 5 petals and how many spots on the cow? You want 4 spots on the cow? Okay, 4 spots on the cow. How many blades of grass do you want? Yeah, really? Okay, that's a good number. That many blades of grass. So, we want a beautiful house. And we run it through the software development lifecycle. What happens is, and remember, I'm talking about a symptom. What happens is, we end up building something like looking like this. Okay? And before any of you diss this, we've got a door. Okay? We've got a window. We've got space for laundry, some greenery in the back, and most importantly, we even have electricity coming in. Okay? We met all of the requirements. And this is the symptom I call, we built what was asked for. We didn't build what was needed. And look at the difference between the two. This is what we needed. This is what we asked for. And if we look at the specifications and we look at, what do? We go back to the sign-off documents, the business requirements documents. We built exactly what was on the business requirement document. So, we had a lot of symptoms. 6 months in, this is something that, this is where we started, okay? 6 months into my Manulife journey. I was 6 months in, and I saw all these symptoms. And I was like wondering, this is kind of interesting, okay? This is kind of interesting, operating in this environment. So at that time, 6 months in, something happened. Our head of production support actually left the company. And when the head of production support left the company, my boss at that time, so I was handling strategy and transformation. He said, hey, we need someone to fill in. Would you mind filling in? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me fill in, okay? So I went to the production support team, and I said, hey, guys, what's going on? I said, okay, here's what's going on. We have 372 outstanding incidents. I'm like, what? 372 outstanding incidents. Okay, how are we operating if we have 372 outstanding incidents? Okay, so, and what's the trend? Oh, it's going up. It's going up? How much? It's going up by 12.5 incidents on average every month. And that rate is increasing every month as well. So here we are with 372 incidents. And I'm wondering how we operate. But, hang on. As they figured out that out. But it all started here. The first thing I did was I sat the team down. And I said, look, guys, what are some of the adjectives that people use to describe us? Slow. And then everyone else started complaining. Oh, we're not slow, blah, blah, blah. No. This is not about questioning if the adjective is correct. What do people call us? Oh, we're a black hole. It's my favorite. Why? You report an incident, and then that's it. It's a complete black hole. So we wrote it down. And I said, what are some of the companies that you hate dealing with? And they wrote down the companies that they hated dealing with. Why do you hate dealing with these companies? Okay. Why do you hate dealing with these companies? And we wrote down, oh, they're slow, and they never call me back when I have an issue. I was like, okay. I started drawing lines. So what you're saying is that we are this company. And they were like, oh, crap. We're that company that we hate dealing with. From there, I issued a challenge to the team. I said, we're going to take our 372 incidents. Not only are we going to prevent it from going up, not only are we going to stabilize it, we're going to bring it down. Not only are we going to bring it down, we're going to bring it down to below 50. None of them believed me. I said, okay, fine, none of you believe me? Tell you what, in 3 months, if we don't bring this below 50, I will quit. You will have, you guys, my team, you will have my resignation if we don't bring this below 50. How's that for skin in the game? Now they believed that, okay, my own is on the line, and therefore I would be there to support them. So the first thing we did, and I apologize we don't have the slides, but the first thing we did is we put up a number, 372, and I updated that number every day. And here came the complaints. Stanley, you're wasting paper. Stanley, you're doing this. Stanley, I don't know why you're buying Post-it notes. Okay, this is not standard issue in Manulife. We put up the number. Why? Visualization is important. If people go home every single night thinking, 372, how do I bring that number down? That's incredibly, incredibly powerful. So I wanted everyone to know that we had 372 incidents, not only just in IT, but we made this available to the business as well. That there were 372 outstanding incidents at any one point in time. We started a Kanban board. We started posting all of our incidents and making it public, keeping ourselves accountable and transparent at the same time. So this was the first team that we had. This was the first team that we had started kind of an agile method. We also did daily stand-ups. And this daily stand-up, again, we came in with a lot of issues. Stanley, you're making people stand up. What if they get tired? I'm like, seriously? People are complaining about this? Oh yeah, I don't know why they're standing up. That looks weird. Before long, we had the business joining part of those stand-ups. We transferred ownership of incidents, not from IT, but to the business as well. And I made sure that we talked to all of our senior level executives to understand the importance of fixing incidents. We then, after production support, this was our first experiment. In 3 months, we got to 39 incidents. It was absolutely fantastic. No one could believe it, okay? By month 2.5, when we're still at 50, I was sweating, of course. But we got to below 50, and I was very, very proud of that. We then had an interesting idea. Let's expand this out. Let's expand this out. Now, as an insurance company, we develop insurance products. And to develop insurance products, the way that it works within Manulife is that, I don't know why, but we had every single developer on our team build one part of that insurance product, okay? And, well, you know, we were a waterfall company, so this is how it actually worked back then. And what we said is that, let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment. And everyone thought, hey, by the way, if you're in your transformation journeys and you're the transformation agent, everyone will think you're crazy all the time. Get used to it, okay? I said, why don't we take, instead of having every single developer deliver a little piece of that, why don't we create a cross-functional squad that's responsible for a particular product line? Why do we not create, let's create a squad responsible for high net worth products, a squad responsible for investment-linked products, a squad responsible for protection products. And that squad will be cross-functional. It won't be about the BAs versus the developers versus the testers versus whoever it might be. The squad will succeed and they will fail together as a squad. And that single squad with just a small number of developers will be responsible for developing all the products within that product line. So we rolled this out to 3 squads. So we had production support. We rolled this out to 3 squads, and the 3 squads, they started their boards, and they started their daily stand-ups. And of course, what happened? More complaints incoming, right? More complaints incoming. But my favorite part, sorry, if you could just click on the PowerPoint slide for me, thank you. My favorite was when I had a brilliant idea, okay? Can we just get rid of this bottom part? Yeah. Yeah, just go Shift F5. There you go. All right. Now, I had a brilliant idea. What was the brilliant idea? What do you think happened next? I'm crazy, absolutely. I had a crazy idea, okay? And it's so simple when you look back. It's like, I don't even know why this was an issue. If you've been through this transformation, you'll know exactly what I mean. Brilliant idea was not so brilliant at all. It was, why don't we take these squads? Why don't we take these squads and sit them together? Instead of having all the BAs sit over here and all the developers sitting over here. Remember, they hated each other, okay? You don't have lunch with the enemy. You don't talk to the enemy. How do you talk to the other side? Through a BRD, okay? Through email, okay? Now you want us to sit together? Are you freaking nuts? It was as if we asked our employees to run around the office naked, okay? That was the feeling that I got, okay? So let's reseat everyone. We were half successful. In this stage, we reseated 4 teams, the production support and the 3 product squads. We were able to sit them together. This year, our engagement score, do you guys run engagement scores in your companies? Guess what happened to our engagement score this year? It tanked. Our engagement score tanked, absolutely tanked. And guess who took the brunt of that? Okay? Now, eventually what happened was we persisted. We said, this is our new way of working, right? We're absolutely committed to this new way of working. Despite the fact that we couldn't transform as fast as we wanted, that we couldn't reseat everyone, we did it slowly. And eventually, something happened. Eventually, one day I came to the office at 9 a.m., I've got all the stand-ups going on in the 4 squads, and then there was a 5th squad. Well, hang on. Well, why are they standing up? They even had a board. Now, the board was all wrong. It's okay, but they had a board. Like, that was strange. And a month later, there was another team. And a month later, another team. And eventually, this became our new way of working within Manulife. So I want to end this. With a quick quote. And this is from one of our senior leaders. And he always says that you can find a million reasons not to do something, but you need to find that one reason to do it. And change is difficult, but not changing is potentially fatal. With that, I hand over the last part of this presentation over to my colleague, Grace.
Hello, everyone. All right. So we have heard a lot of our challenges and difficulties along our transformation journey. And it's tough. And right now, I'm going to share with you one of the great experiences or memories that I have in our transformation journey that keeps us going, that makes us believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. So, today, our office is at 8 Cross Street. And previously, we were at Bras Basah. We moved into this new office October last year. Guess what? Interestingly, you heard about the story about the receiving plan that got people angry and crazy and upset, and it caused our engagement score to dive, right? And here's the interesting part. Months before we moved to the new office, a lot of people came up to me and asked, "Hey, Grace, can we still sit in our squad when we move to the new office?" I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But at the back of my mind, I was like, interesting. Now they seem to be liking to sit together. And then during the last week before we moved to the new office, I saw people discussing the plans, how they move their boards, Scrum board, Kanban boards, to the new office. So I let them be. And on the first day, when I first stepped into the new office, I took a tour in the morning. Guess what I saw? And that was the moment that I still remember until today. Because I'm short-term memory, I don't remember things. What I done yesterday, I don't remember. But this is one moment, one experience that I still remember up until today. That morning, I saw every single squad continue doing their stand-ups in front of their board at the specific timing, just like how they did in our office. I was like, whoa, something is going on. Something is changing. And not only that, so if you walk around our office up until today, you see this in every morning. Sometimes you will see a new stand-up pops up, just like the one at the right corner that came up 2 months ago. And if you ask around people in the office today, whether or not, if you are given a chance, would you go back to the old way of working? I'm pretty sure that a majority of them would say, nah, no chance, no way. And this is the NPS survey that we ran on how would you recommend our Agile way of working to others on a scale from 1 to 10. And the result shows that, yep, we got a positive NPS score, and there's a momentum in promoting this Agile way of working. And that makes us believe that it's all worthwhile. So, before we move to this new office, we wanted to make sure that we embrace an open, transparent, collaborative culture. So we have a lot of collaborative spaces and writable walls in our office. This is how our office looks like. So because we believe in visualization, the power of visualization, because we believe in out of sight, out of mind. So our teams took this to the advantage. We visualize literally everything. From our IT 5 ambitions, if you can see all up here, Agile in our DNA is one of the ambitions. And okay, next we have value stream map. This is a product that we just launched. So teams put their Scrum mobs up, their work in progress items, even their mistakes, they also put out on the wall. So visualization is the big thing that we believe. So on the TVs, we publish our Code Health Index. What is Code Health Index? It's invented by our colleague, Ryan, who is sitting here. So it summarizes the quality of code that a squad writes into a single number. What it means is that it shows DevOps and Agile are working hand in hand so that we can deliver superior applications that enable us to laser focus on delivering our customer values. And not only that, so we have this engineering user group. It's a bottom-up, volunteer-based group of people. They started dedicating themselves to see how we can improve our engineering capabilities as well as best practices. So this group of people, they meet regularly. They run Tech Tuesday to see how we can promote healthy code culture. So we've done a lot within tech. To go beyond and further IT or technology, we are working with our business partners and to leverage on the techniques from design thinking, lean, and agile to explore the problems that we may solve for our companies or for customers so that we can build the right things, and most importantly, we build the things right. So, I have confidence that the journey ahead is super exciting, and I cannot wait for it. So with that, I pass it back to Stanley.
Thank you. So Grace has actually been with the company for since the start of the transformation, about 4+ years, and she's seen the transformation from where we were to where we are today. And I'm very, very, very proud that we are a much different company today. Today, we have a chance at our mission statement. Decisions made easier, lives made better. In summary, if you're undergoing a transformation, it's important to discover your why. This is your anchor. During difficult times, you will always go back to your why. Why is it that you need to transform? And I use the word discover, not know, because quite frankly, we didn't know it really when we started. We discovered it almost along the way. But make sure you do that before you get into the rocky patches. So don't wait. If you're going to start a transformation, start today. Don't fall into the trap of running an agile transformation as a waterfall initiative, planning it out exactly. That kind of makes no sense. always consider what is the cost of not changing. And this question, this is the one question that always got me through senior management meetings, was what is the cost of not changing? Yes, we're going through pain right now, but what is the cost if we don't change? Change is difficult, but not changing is potentially fatal. There's no way we can achieve our mission statement if we don't change. So build a guiding coalition who believe in the why. This guiding coalition, these are not people that you need to convince, or maybe convince them ahead of time, but once they're in this guiding coalition, this is your support group. I felt like giving up twice during this journey. I will admit it. I almost gave up twice. And there was one day I threw in the towel. I absolutely remember, I said, I give up. There's no hope for this company. It was the guiding coalition who brought me back and said, Stanley, remember our why. Remember why we're doing this. Okay, that's very important. People will complain. Not everyone will be happy. That's okay. You will have attrition. People will leave your company. That's also okay. And things will get worse before they get better. And that's absolutely fine too. And the third point, know that the future is bright. Architecture and DevOps play an important role. In fact, they go hand in hand. You can't have a monolithic system and agile teams. It's like oil and water. They don't mix. You can't have a waterfall-based team and a modern architecture. It doesn't work. The two go hand in hand, and DevOps is the glue that makes sure that everything glues together. And most importantly, know that your transformation is a journey, not a destination. It's not about getting to a particular point. There was one day I remember someone on our senior management team said, "Are we agile yet?" I think the fact that we're asking our question means that we're probably not. But more importantly, it's about the journey and not about the destination. Agile is about getting up every single day and making us better, aligned to our mission. So with that, I thank you very much. We've got the QR code over here. Please give us feedback. So if you take out your phones, zoom into the QR code. It will bring you to a SurveyMonkey link. I wish you all the best in your respective transformation journeys. And now we have time for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Stanley. We have time to take a couple of questions. Any questions in the audience? Yep.
Yes.
So your Agile journey is only, as you just said, right? So DevOps and this old architecture, not Agile. So then your Agile journey is only for your new build applications. What about your legacy one, which is already in waterfall, and you throw them away, or how do you live with it?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So for clarity, when we started our Agile journey, we started in technology. We started with our tech teams. And what we did was we got an external consultant to come in and train us and make sure that everyone has fluency in Agile. But it really started within the tech teams. The first thing that everyone complained about, if you start your Agile journey within the tech teams and they read about it, is that they say, oh, we can't be successful, we can't be Agile. Why? There's no Scrum Master. So what did we do? We invested time in building Scrum Masters, and we trained over 60 Scrum Masters within Manulife. The next objection, after we had our Scrum Masters, what do you think the next objection was? We're starting in tech. We can't be successful. We don't have product owners. So we spent the next year, our first year was about building fluency within tech. The next year, we spent solely focused on building product owners within Manulife. And we trained, I believe, something like 58 different product owners within Manulife, all with varying degrees of success. After that, people naturally started complaining about what you're referring to. I can't be Agile because, I'm working on a legacy system. So what did we do? We started investing in new technology. We started investing in new tools. We started investing in new platforms that really will enable our teams to be successful. You will receive objection after objection after objection. But these objections are not objections. That's not the way to view them. These are opportunities for us to improve. And so for our legacy systems, we have an app roadmap. For our legacy systems, we publish this. We make it transparent. One of the things that we believe in now is transparency. So all of our strategies, all of our application roadmaps is fully transparent to all our teams so that people know exactly when and what is transforming, not just in terms of the way we work, but in terms of our application roadmap as well. In terms of transparency, the other thing, I don't know if you could see the pictures, they were really small. We've taken this transparency really to the next level. We also have each squad, they do an assessment, an agile assessment of how agile they are. So we have this proprietary matrix and a spider chart. Again, this is something we publish. Okay? We publish it out everywhere. It's on the wall beside each squad. They will publish their own maturity, but also any issues that they have and any organizational impediments, things that are wrong with our company. We also encourage people to stick it up on the wall to remind ourselves of the things that we need to fix. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Sorry, guys, we need to wrap up, but you can have, a chat with Stanley, like right after the session. Sorry about that. We need to, stick to our schedule. So, thank you, Stanley. Thank you, Grace. Let's give them a big round of applause.